chicken wing with the fried rice. I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. Used to eat Chinese on the late nights at the land with a hater who would throw shade white. Box like an ocean, I ain't think twice. Turn into Larry Bird, homie, that's a great white. Spell victory on the lips, then she get dismissed. When you kiss, tell me what it tastes like. If she ain't thick, then you know the face nice. If it got a switch, then the cake's baked right. Back at HU, used to hit Ho Chi, laid up and cook hall, couldn't get no sleep. Mambo sauce, fried rice, 4 wings. Gotta step around a dope fiend when I leave. Y'all know me, how I be smoke free, but I'm higher than the kite that you let go free. Train wreck, peer pressure by the homies. Now I'm sitting in the coop looking like Smokey, acting like I'm finna OD. Brody like chill, you good for real. Just a little weed, you ain't take no pills. All you probably need is a late night meal. Tried to explain I'm a drinker, he cut me off. Told me ride with him in the drop. We gon' pick it up, but I'm putting in the order now. What you want from the Chinese spot? I be like,
hello, China One. Okay, what your order?
let me get a
3 rings, chicken fried rice, 1 egg roll,
man. Let me get a
soy sauce, no dark sauce. Okay, 15 minutes.
I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. Yeah, hey, I remember green run nice fried wings with the rice going in with the drink. Hey, lit with the dogs getting high off life mixed in with the dang. Hey, one to the left probably get into a fight, so you know we gon' bang. Hey, one to my right didn't even say bye, slid off with a skank. Yeah, send her to pick up the food when she finished the boy off. Tell her don't flex on me, you know what I like, and please do not forget the soy sauce. That's when I called her, trying to add to the order. Told her it's dead though. Matter of fact, cause the head cold, go ahead little baby and get you an egg roll. Every hood got a China Walk or a China One or a China Wonder. Well ready to supply the block, and in 15 minutes they defying hunger. I would hit them on my live nights when I'm super faded and I died twice. Tell the lady on the line like chicken wings with the fried rice.
Okay, here your wonton soup with spare rib, $12, okay?
I ain't order no spare ribs.
That's your order.
That's not my order.
No,
I had 3.
you pay now. No free food.
I'm not paying for this. Where are my wings at?
You order soup, you pay now.
Lady, you must be crazy. I'm gone. I'm not paying for that.
You still out food? I call police.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning on this 21st day of March. It's another episode of hashtag Truth Be Told, representing some of those folks in March Madness that's moving on to the next round. I'm grambling up today. I'm with the G. I'm with the G, 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 GS, GS, G. Yeah, that part. So, good morning. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building from 100 BLK, the Black Station, along with my brother from another mother, Brother Fatim, 107.5 WBLS in New York City, producer of the Open Line Online and Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton. Good morning, Brother Fatim. How you doing this morning?
Good day, good morning. Grand risings. I know a lot of people, talk about the emphasis of power words and where words come from and what good morning means and things like that. And I understand, but there are what is called connotations and denotation of words, meaning it may be a word stem or meaning from a word that it came from, but then it turns into another word. But anyway, out of respect, I say good day, grand rising. Assalamu alaikum, buenos dias to all my brothers and sisters out there.
All that, good morning and all that. You know, the Four Horsemen wouldn't be the Four Horsemen without rolling in Brick City. She rolling, picture her rolling. It's my girl, Jax herself doing her thing. You know, a celebrity author, art therapist, all that good stuff. Whatever is good, Jax is doing it. Jax, good morning.
What's up, family? Shalom, shalom. You got all the words. You forgot the shalom.
I forgot the shalom. That is right. Peace.
That's right.
In Hebrew. That's right.
What's up? Peace and blessings, everybody.
Good morning.
How y'all doing?
I'm glad that you pep like that, and you've been driving and up all night and all kind of stuff.
All night. Yes, driving. Had to take my son back to school in New England, so that's about 4 hours away from the Brick City. After we left there, my husband and I went to visit one of his family members who's in rehab by the grace of God. And we went to take him a bunch of clothes and sneakers and shoes and make sure he was laced out while he's on his journey to recovery. And then we turned right back around, drove all the way back to Jersey. Got home 6:30 this morning, but I made it online.
See there? That's what I'm talking about. Jack's gonna get it done. Let's give her a round of applause and the bell. Because she been rolling all night like an 18-wheeler. She been rolling like an 18-wheeler.
Yep.
Well, I hear you. But we won't do for the family.
That's right.
What you won't do for love, what you won't do for the family. I'm just saying.
It takes a village.
I know we've got a guest coming on later on in the show. Get ready for that and so much more. Man, it is another episode of hashtag Truth Be Told on this Thursday. Turn up Thursday, turn down for what? And after yesterday, I think all we can do is continue to turn up. I'm just saying, big ups to Alethea for being on here. Alethea Crimmins, she was in here, she was in the building, and man, the show was off the chain. And speaking about turn up, Jax was just hanging with Tretch like she was a part of Naughty by Nature her damn self. I was like, man, what's really going on here? All of a sudden, I started, wait a minute. I was like, wait 1 minute. So Jax, tell us about what was going on with you and Tretch yesterday. Come on, give it up.
Yes. So yesterday was United Way Celebrity Reads. So I'm honored to be a guest virtually every year to do celebrity reads. So we go to different schools throughout the city of Newark and we read books to the children. So obviously, being that I'm an author, I always read my book. I Am Bigger and So Are You, Skills for the Soul. You can get it on Amazon. So check it out. You can also go to my website, jaxlake.com, and check it out there as well. So, we have firefighters were in the building, police officers, detectives, engineers, people from all walks of life and all businesses. And who walks in the door? Brother Tretch, Mr. OPP himself. Walked in the door looking amazing. He's doing phenomenal. He will be visiting us one day soon. But yeah, he did story time and read some books to the kids. So it was a beautiful thing yesterday, for sure.
Okay.
Tretch is always, Naughty by Nature was always have been community-driven brothers, that rap group. And when you put his picture up there, Jax, phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And I applaud you. I applaud the mayor. I applaud the folks that continue to do the work out there. And it just shows you that once you make it, you don't need to forget where you come from. I'm very big on that there. So kudos to that. Congratulations there. I do want to say something real quick before I get into something real quick. Is Joe played a song this morning and I don't know the name of the song. 3 chicken wings with fried rice, right? So first I was about to jump on it, but then I had to think, and I said, you can't jump on that because it's an experience of someone, and then they take their mind and they turn it into creativity. You don't jump on that because it kind of comical and stuff like that, and it's creative. It is creative. The problem I have is that there's a lot of creative and good work out here that doesn't get put out, doesn't get pushed. And that's the problem. And I blame the puppet masters that are behind pushing just a certain narrative out here where they don't push or support our other narrative out there. So when I was waiting for you to bring up Tretch, because you look at OPP and the other songs that Naughty by Nature sang, they sung about things that some of it was things that they experienced, and we can't take that away. But we had a variety of songs, we had a variety of artists out there, and now you can name 10 artists, and I'm not talking about you old heads that are not in the game. You understand? But with a variety of music, not just one artist doing something positive. We had a variety of group of artists that were doing stuff. We had what was the brothers out? The brothers out of Jersey. I can't call their name, and they're my
Lords of the Underground.
No. They were 5 percenters. They were 5 percenters.
Poor Righteous Teachers.
Poor Righteous Teachers. Poor Righteous Teachers. And then when I brought that brother on to talk about drill music, just the intellect that the brother had. So I'm just saying again, not to take away from the creativity of our people. The problem is that the puppet masters, the people that control the industry, that manipulate and put out whatever they choose to put out to our community, because whatever you put out, whatever's available is what the people are going to gravitate to. That's how it works. But if you give people choice, then they have choice to move here or there. So that's what I wanted to say on that song that you played this morning, Joe.
Wow, Jax, you got something to say about that?
No, you are absolutely right. PRT, that was actually one of my favorite groups back in the day. They put out some phenomenal music. And yeah, back to Tretch. I mean, he's a dope brother. He's had a long standing career. And you know what's ironic? I mentioned to him yesterday, my husband actually used to be a model and an actor back in the day. And there was a big billboard in Times Square with my husband actually wearing Naughty gear, modeling for the ad campaign for Naughty by Nature. So it was, full circle moment. So it was really dope. It was dope.
There you go. Hey, Joe, could I get into this news stuff real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
All right. So the reason why you never see me wear this shirt on this show, Black Lives Matter. If you've heard this before, and when we bring this up, other folks, all lives matter. Yeah, all lives do matter. All lives do matter. But the problem is when it comes to Black lives, they don't seem like they matter. Right. And we have a horrific situation now going on in Haiti. Horrific situation going on in Haiti. And the problem is there's starvation over there. People are being killed. They need help. They need boots on the ground. They need people on the ground. What's going on in Haiti? Reverend Sharpton said yesterday that it's amazing that when Israel needed our voices, where are all the voices? We stood up. Black ministers, Black people stood up for the attack on October 7th that happened in Israel. We stood up with Ukraine. We stood up on campuses across this nation for stand up for those things. We want to see where your voices are now for Black people. Where's your voices? Your voices are not there for Sudan. Your voices are not there for Congo. And where the hell are your voices for Haiti at the end of the day? So that's why I have this Black Lives Matter shirt on today and this African medallion for all the Black people in the diaspora that continue to suffer at the hands of problems. And the problem in Haiti, I didn't say racism. I can go into talking about who helped destabilize the country, but those people are dying at the hands of people that are also Haitian that look like them. Now, where the guns are coming from, remember, that's a poor nation. So where are those guns coming from? They're coming out of Florida and up. Exactly. So let me just go into this two news stories real quick. So yesterday, New York City Mayor Eric Adams and Reverend Al Sharpton, along with Haitian activists and New York City clergy, teamed up to urge President Biden's administration to address gang violence in Haiti, emphasizing the need to stop gun trafficking from Florida and halt deportation of Haitians from the United States. At a press conference yesterday afternoon in New York City Hall, Mayor Adams stressed the importance of providing expertise and resources to stabilize Haiti, given New York City's significant Haitian diaspora. Reverend Sharpton refrained from calling for U.S. troops to be deployed to Haiti, but last night I had Pastor Samuel Nicholas, and he is calling for boots on the ground. They need help. They need help. Reverend Sharpton said he's advocating for his investigations into the gun trafficking and support, as well as sending adequate funding for the Kenya plan to send specialized police officers to Haiti. Right now, Reverend Sharpton called on the Biden administration to do more. Right now, some of the funding that Biden has given to Haiti is being held up by a Republican Senate.
Wow.
Don't get me started there. So that's number one. Number two. This is on racism. Did you ever hear of a group called the Goon Squad? The police out of Mississippi. Six white boys. So 6 white boys tortured 2 black individuals. Unheard of. And they are getting sentenced.
Stop. It's not that it's unheard of. It's heard of. It's just these got caught.
Oh. They got not only did they get caught, they were found guilty and they are being sentenced. What happened yesterday was interesting, and I spoke with one of the attorneys, which I mentioned his name before. I spoke with him last night about 6:00, Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, and he said, "Brother, I'm running. I'm tired. I'll definitely be there. I think he's coming on my show Sunday, and he said he'll make an appearance here, but they're doing sentencing all week. So 2 more people have to be sentenced today. Out of the 6, 4 have been sentenced. So former Mississippi law enforcement officer Christian Dedmon received a 40-year prison sentence for his role in the torture of the 2 black men described as shocking, brutal, and cruel acts by federal judges. Details of racial motivated beatings, torture, sexual assaults, and a mock execution unfold in federal court as victims confronted their tormentors, leading to an emotional sentence hearing. The other officers, Daniel Oakdyke, he was a former Rankin County Sheriff deputy. He received a 17.5-year prison sentence. And I'm trying to find out the other 2 defendants and the other 2. Another deputy, Edward and Middleton, they received 20 years and 17.5 years respectively. And you come to us, that's the news story. That's my commentary. You come to us and you want to put a president back in you want to put a former president back in office that tell the cops to rough them up, do what you got to do, stop consent decrees that President Obama started with the Justice Department to look at the police departments that had this racial behavior. But you want us to stand here and accept that. And yeah, we're not happy with some of the things that the Biden administration has done. But what they have done is his Justice Department has went after corrupt police departments across this nation. This is what I'm saying when we stand on. And also, let me just say this, Joe, and I didn't want to start with this because I don't, this is not a joking matter about hate.
We got to get.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't want to say that, but real quick, it's amazing that Rodriguez called in yesterday and say Sharpton this, Sharpton that. So I guess Rodriguez met with the mayor yesterday. I guess Rodriguez met with the Haitian leaders yesterday. Yes, you understand? You're a lot of people. I told you, you talk a good game, but your actions are weak. All right, I turn it back over to you, Joe.
All right, so in the green room, I'm going to let Jackson introduce who let me just bring her in. There she is.
Yes.
Who we got in the building? Who we got in the
We
building?
we got in the building the beautiful, illustrious Badia Farah, my girl. Joe, I'm gonna swing it to you. I'm finishing up driving. If you can hit
Right.
that bio for me real quick for the introduction. Welcome, Badia.
Yes, thanks for having me.
I love
So-
that name. I love that
Yeah,
name. Sister
so-
Badia Farah. But I know Joe's going to read. What does Badia mean?
Original creation,
Out of what
Okay.
language?
Arabic.
There you go. My daughter is named Fatia. And
Oh.
Fatia, yeah, one who conquers. She's the first one that came through my wife's womb after numerous miscarriages, also in Arabic. And my name is Fatine, which means smart, clever, and bright, also in Arabic. So peace.
Nice.
I don't know if you're Muslim or not,
I
but
am.
assalamu alaikum.
She is, and you know, she's also known as the Lady Rose. She's an actress, singer, dancer, songwriter, and producer. She's currently in the cast of the new Broadway musical, better known as Hell's Kitchen, which is loosely based on the life of Alicia Keys. And man, I mean, she goes down when you see the accolades. She's been seen in numerous Broadways, off Broadways, regional theater productions, including the School of Rock, Sister Act, Rent, and the Little House of Horrors, just to name a few. Listen, she got a lot of stuff going on. So last but not least, let me just do this. Bring on in. Come on, sister. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And how are you doing this morning? And where you at this morning?
I'm all right. I'm good. I'm here in Jersey, Jersey girl, born and raised.
Okay, we got two Jersey girls in the building.
That's right. That's right. But Badia and I go way back. We go back. What, Badia?
Oh my God.
Damn near 30 years. Damn near 30 years now.
Yes, long time.
Was you cutting up Badia with Sister Jackson when she was in her bad space of life?
Yes, we both were.
They were both cutting up. What you mean?
Good looking, bad acting sisters. All right,
Yep.
all right.
That sound about right. That sound about right.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna have him take his cape off for a minute. So tell us about this Broadway musical that you're doing right now, Hell's Kitchen, and tell us more about that. Just tell us more about that.
Wow.
And turn your camera sideways if you can, real quick, Badia. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Hell's Kitchen is. I gotta set this camera up to for success. Okay.
Right, there you go.
Hell's Kitchen is a Broadway musical that is loosely based on the life of Alicia Keys. It is her music. The music and lyrics are by Alicia Keys. Book is written by Christopher Diaz. And it's about a young girl coming of age, you know, in the 90s. In that era, so it's very nostalgic, and a mother who is trying to keep her daughter out of trouble. It's a great story. Of course, we all love Alicia Keys' music. She's wonderful, and we open on April 20th. We start previews March 28th. So, yeah, you can go to hellskitchen.com and get tickets to come see us.
That part. And what part do you play? In what theater is this playing it in? Is it in Jersey? Is it in New York? Where is this play playing at?
We on Broadway, baby. We
Woo!
That I knew that came from somebody that's not in New York, because that we all know that's Broadway.
Hold on.
Came from somebody who ain't in New York.
Hold on. So stop. I'm glad he said that. Leah, before you even jump in this, Brother Fatim, the reason I asked that question is last time I checked, if I look right now on the feed, I got people from California, from Texas, from Georgia, folk who got money and travel. So guess what? If she don't say where it's at, because everybody ain't from New York, everybody don't know what's going on in New York.
He know I come at him.
So we need to know, right? I ain't from New York, and so is about 115 people that's on here. They ain't from New York either, and they might want to go see Miss Badia and help increase her numbers of showing up at the theater. So I just need to know what theater it was at. As we were, Sister Badia, continue on.
Well, we are in New York City on Broadway.
That part.
Hubert Theater, which is right in Midtown. Yes, I am an understudy, so I cover 3 different roles.
Okay.
Yes, so I cover a woman named Miss Eliza Jane, who is Allie's piano teacher, who gives life lessons, but also teaches her how to play the piano.
Okay.
And then I also play 2 roles called Crystal and Millie, and they are the mom's best friend.
So how does it feel when you have to do these different roles, that you have to go into one character, then come out of a character, fall into another character, then fall out that character and fall into another character? Talk about that.
Yeah, it's challenging. It's challenging because each character has their own trajectory. So you have to figure out, you know, who each person is and really dive into the story that that character is trying to tell within the collective of the show. So you have to jump between each one, and then you have to learn all their blocking, you know, where they stand, you know, what songs they're singing, who they interact with, what pieces they carry off the stage. Like, you know, you have to know all of the details of every little thing of every person that you cover. It's very detailed.
Okay, brother.
And Badia is brilliant. She is one of the hardest working women in show business consistently. This young lady, let me tell you, she's been singing out since she came out the womb, and she is hilarious. She is so busy. She studied her craft for so many years, and she even went to school and got a degree. If you want to share that with some of our viewers, Badia, who are just starting out, or maybe their children are interested in theater and arts and music, tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah. So like Jackie said, I've been singing forever. I started off singing in my town. I was the girl that everybody went to when we had recitals or something for the mayor or something, a Christmas tree lighting or whatever the case may be. I was always the girl that they came to do solos and sing. Always in the chorus. Every school, the chorus teacher would tell the next school, okay, Badia's coming to your school. So then I would go to that school. I would have my solos and all the things. So everyone who knows me knows that I've been singing all of my life. But when I went to college, of course, I started with you need something to fall back on. So I was a science major studying cytotechnology, which is the study of cells. And I was still singing and acting and doing plays, straight plays, not straight plays meaning no music, in college. I never really put the thing together of like music, acting, dancing, theater. I didn't know what music theater was. So I was just singing, going around New York, you know, doing open mics, recording, putting my money behind myself, supporting myself, promoting myself. And when I got to be like a senior in college, like my last year of college, I changed my major, which was a huge deal. And I had changed my major and went into communications because I wanted to do music. And I kept doing singing. I started working at a record label. I worked at Sony Music. And then I decided that I wanted to go back to school. So I went to NYU and got my degree and got my master's in music and performing arts and music theater from New York University. And from there, I started doing musicals. And I've just kind of never stopped from there.
Wow. You know, I'm going to go around the block to come back around the block to you, Sister Badia, because when I don't know if you heard me when I was talking a little bit about music today, and I was talking about how the business has changed and we don't seem to see a variety of artists out there that's doing a variety of different type of music. And, you know, just to give a little background, I'm not no actor or anything, but I've been blessed. I've been blessed to be around people who have acted. Matter of fact, being in radio, my teacher and who was on who I got to receive the baton from is Bob Slade, who was an actor. His sister-in-law is Nima Barnett, who just received an NAACP Image Award last week. I always mention James Ntume, but I failed to mention Tawatha Agee, who's also out of New Jersey, who's the lead on Juicy Fruit and done. There you go. You know, so she just celebrated her birthday Tuesday. Tuesday, I spoke with her briefly Tuesday. And the reason why I bring that up is because in the field of the arts, back in the day, you could be around a plethora of people doing a lot of things. I want to ask you now, what is the state of the arts being on Broadway? And I'm not just I'm talking about all folks, Black folks, white folks, because we don't see the arts in school as we once saw it. We don't see music in school like we once saw it. So when our kids are going through school, if our parents or the guardians are not putting in their separate outside programs to learn music or learning how to dance and perform, we not seem to be pushing out as many as we once did. How do you look at the state of the arts today and folks that are coming into Broadway, off Broadway, into the film industry, television industry as well?
Well, I think the root of it starts from the music programs. Schools have been not getting the funding and pushing the music programs in schools. Also, the fact that now, I remember when I was going to school, we had free instruments. Now, it's very hard for these children to get instruments and have these and be in these music programs. So I think the root of it kind of starts there in the education, because that's where it starts for a lot of people. It starts in the schools, it starts in the choir, it starts in the band, it starts in all of that. And when you don't have access to instruments, that causes a problem. But I will say that I do see now also, I never knew anything about music theater until I went to NYU. But I will say that I do see a lot of kids going to college for music theater. They have great music theater programs in colleges all across this country. They also have a lot of intensives that people do to help people with their auditions to get into these schools. Coming from where I came from, I just didn't have the access or knowledge about it. But I think as we get as time passes, people are starting to delve into different forms of entertainment. And I think they're more aware of the options that are out there. So I see a lot of kids doing music theater programs.
So Badia, I want to ask a question also. That was wonderful. I see, and it's funny, as I deal with 2 New Jerseys, 1 New York, and I'm down south in Louisiana, I see how things trickle down. Because it's funny to me that what I hear you just said about music programs in the schools, I'm sure you're putting that in your region, which is very strange, because if you didn't see, I have on a jacket from D. Grambling State University.
Okay, I got family in New Orleans.
Oh, okay. So look, but this is what's funny. Where did you go to undergrad at? And I have a reason I'm asking this.
I went to Kane University.
Okay. And you got a master's degree from NYU. That's important. And the reason I ask that question is many times people of color, we're not exposed to other universities outside of sometimes HBCUs. And this is crazy. I went to D. Grambling State University, got a degree from there, but that's not my undergrad. My undergrad was at the University of Maryland. So I always try to emphasize to folks, just because you look a certain way, you can understand that there's many schools out there that does a lot that you can go to. There's many folk of color that go to schools that are what we call PWIs, but still there's a lot of good HBCUs out there. I went to Grambling. I worked for Southern University in the state of Louisiana, and those are 2 very well-known historically Black colleges and universities. And in your neck of the woods, you've got the Howards and the Hamptons, and you have great schools there too. So, the educational component is major, because without education, we normally don't move forward. So I know you were talking about you had to get something to fall back on, but thank God that God blessed you with that talent that moved you into the area of where your heart and your soul and your mind wanted to be. But that fallback plan, and I ask myself sometimes, can we not do better about having institution that could usher young women and young men who have your talent at a young age, that they don't have to say I need a fallback plan because they're actually in the pipeline to make it from the school system into the next level of theater in college, and then maybe on the Broadway and in the films or wherever their hearts desire. I'm just asking that question.
Well, I will say this. I did the fallback plan because my parents, didn't think that singing, they didn't want me to go into entertainment. And they didn't think that singing was going to be a career for myself. But the difference is that I don't and never have seen myself do anything else. So it wasn't being true to myself, but fallback. So I continued on the path that was going to make me and my heart happy, which was not supported by a lot of people. And so I would say that to say, it's a very hard path. You have to also be very realistic with yourself. Sometimes having that fallback plan is a good thing. You know what I mean? If you don't have the fortitude, the fight, if you don't have it in you, to take rejection, people not like you, because it's in this industry, it's not like, it's very personal to you. It's not like you go to your job and you call somebody and they like, oh, I don't like how you spoke to me, or this report isn't right. When you go in there and you sing or you act, that's on you. So that's a very hard thing, to mentally deal with. It's not an easy profession, and it's not for everybody. It looks glamorous. It looks fun. It looks like that's what I want to do. But what's missing is the hard work that people don't see that goes into it. So I don't necessarily think a fallback plan is bad. And if you look at entertainers today, everybody is doing something else. Everybody got a shoe. They got they producing that, because it's just it's hard to just be a performer. Everybody else.
Absolutely. And you know what? In addition to that fallback plan, it's also important to know that you want to be the best in whatever industry you're in.
Right.
So another way to reframe that is she wanted to be the best in the industry she was in. So she went to school and got her master's degree, but it was still tied to her music and business and theater. Right. Mm-hmm. So even with me, when I decided to go back to school and got my master's degree, I was already doing community work and community building. Even when I was a clothing designer, I was still mentoring the models and trying to empower and inspire and encourage them. So when I switched fields from fashion and business and music into, the quote unquote helping profession full time, working for myself, I say, you know what, let me get all the skills I need. Let me learn everything I can learn about psychology, therapy, addiction, and went forth and got that degree in it. So yes, it still is a fallback plan, but it makes you more knowledgeable in whatever area of expertise you potentially want to go into. And like I said, Badia, she is one of the hardest working women consistently. I mean, I remember when we were teenagers, Badia, right? And I remember actually managing Badia when we were younger and traveling around. She was working full time. I was working full time. She was in college. I was in college. But where were we all the time? In and out of New York, in and out of different parties, in and out of open mics. Yeah. Consistently, we wrote music together.
Yes, we did.
Right? Endless hours of studio sessions, writing music. Yes. And just having a good time. And it's so funny, Badi, seeing you here having this conversation, like we're having grown lady conversation now, because Brother Fatim, when me and Badia talk, you see them teeth, all we doing is smiling and laughing and being silly as hell. So it's funny. Yes. So it's funny seeing her so articulate like a woman, because we're so goofy like little girls.
I know.
So I love it.
Always.
And that's great to know. And I love what you just said, Jax, because I always try to utilize a Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. statement about the drum major instinct, that, you can be in first in anything that you do. You understand? And be proud of any field that you do. When you talk about when you go back in schools, that was one of my topics when I was going into school to talk to the students is that be the best that you can be. Because when I was in there, I had 2 careers at the time. I was just getting into radio, but I was out of the banking field. I was working in the World Trade Center for for Chase Bank at that time. It became JP Morgan Chase. I want to come to Sister Badia because I'm glad that you answered that question the way you did, because it sparked me back to my daughter when, even though I have 2 daughters, and my oldest daughter wanted to sing. And I remember she tried out for Frank Sinatra in Long Island City, Queens, LaGuardia. And then I remember purchasing my younger daughter, Rakaya, a keyboard. No lessons at all. She self-taught herself there. But I fast forward because I remember sitting down with my kids, and my late wife would watch Imitation of Life. She would watch some of the older movies out there, and you would see the different quality of acting. Not to say that we don't have quality acting today, but that fast forwarding me to my question to you, Sister Badia. Is there someone that you emulate, that you look up to as who's an actor or actress out there? Is there a performance that just floored you, that may have been on Broadway, in the movies, on television? Because I remember when I came in the house as a teenager, and West Side Story, the original West Side Story, I wasn't into no daggone musical. I was 13. I just came in to get a drink on a Friday night. I'm hanging out with my kids, my friends outside. Uh-huh. I sat down and watched the whole West Side Story. I was floored. Nice. I was floored. Yeah. Then when we was in high school, Fame comes out. Fame. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's us. Yeah. That's us right there. So this to kind of give folks a thing, because I get excited, because when you see yourself or you see others doing this out there, this craft, I give a big ups to, there's a young lady, Jessica Care Moore, who's a great poet. She became famous by doing the Apollo. Mm-hmm. You understand? And doing the Black Statue of Liberty. Yeah. And now she became a big poet. So is there anyone that you look up to, that you emulate, or any movie or performance that you would love someone to see because it motivated you, it inspired you?
Oh, that's like 3-4 questions in one.
Try to get them all in as once.
I would say yes. So being a performer, right? I've always known that that's what I was going to do. Like, some people are like, they don't know what they want to do. But for me, and everybody has their own thing, right? Some people are like, I always want to be a teacher. I always want to be a nurse. I always want to be a singer. So of course it's performers and singers who inspire me. I remember Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston was the person, the singer, who I heard her voice and it stopped me in my tracks. Completely changed my life. Because her voice was a voice I'd never heard before. And growing up, my parents were very into music. I have an older cousin who got me into music, and I heard a lot of stuff. I heard, Chaka Khan, and I heard Aretha Franklin. I heard all the Marvin. I heard all the Stevie, all of them. But Whitney's voice, something hit me like a ton of bricks. Never heard anything like that before in my life, and she changed my life. I got her albums. I would learn a Whitney Houston album in 1 hour. I was obsessed. Mm-hmm. I would sing Whitney every single day. I would open my window and sing and hope somebody walking down the street would discover me. Like, it was crazy. So Whitney Houston, I remember there are certain performers that give me a very visceral feeling when I hear them. And I remember hearing Erykah Badu for the first time. That Badu was visceral. I've never heard.
Yes.
Come on. I never heard it. Like, her voice, actually, it brought us back to a different time before she channeled that, right? But in that time that she came out, nobody was doing it. So visceral. Esperanza Spalding, my God. her, I said, oh my God. Like there were certain people who give me a very visceral feeling as a performer. But I will say that like for career purposes, Vanessa Williams is a person that I look up to because Vanessa Williams is able to do Broadway, television, movies, recording artists, all the things. So I love Vanessa Williams. And when I got to meet her, I got to tell her that and take a picture. And it was wonderful. She was everything that I knew she would be. And Jennifer Lewis, because Jennifer Lewis, let me tell you, I did Sister Act in LA, in Pasadena. And, you know, Jennifer Lewis was in the original movie with Whoopi. So Jennifer Lewis came to see our show and we talked to her backstage. First thing she said when she said, now who was me?
You know that voice, that distinct voice.
Right? I was like, me. So I pattern myself after her because I'm very sassy like she is. So for me, like I try to look at people who and another woman in Broadway named Lillias White. Lillias White, she is everything. I love this woman. She is like Broadway royalty and I look up to her and I admire her. So those are three people that I look at their careers. I look at what they've done. I've looked at their trajectory and I kind of try to make my own way. But, you know, kind of pattern myself after like, well, what did they do? And how did they bob and weave? You know, so those, you know, it's like finding out where your lane is and then finding out who is kind of similar and then figuring out, you know, what the trajectory was and try to see how you can make your way.
Absolutely.
So
and who else? Oh, go ahead, Joe.
So Badia.
Yeah.
Since I'm with the East Coast connection right now and I'm down south.
Yeah, East Coast connection.
So, listen, and we have some great people who are in the arts down south. We have a young lady here named Leah Porter. Her and another young lady have put together a thing, they call it the Creole Nutcracker, because here there's certain cultures that you know some folks know about in the area that you're in, but many people are very blind to. And here we got the Cajun Creole culture, and Cajun and Creole are totally different. So they do a thing called the Creole Nutcracker. But for the young ladies down south, because I always say this, you know, there's some little girl down here right now looking, saying, you know, to y'all, New Jersey, New York, because you're right there. That's just a hop, skip, and a jump from you. But to somebody who's in a rural town down south, who may aspire to be the next great dancer or theater performer, they're looking at you right now, probably going, oh my God. Oh my God. So could you give a word to a little girl that may be looking, that's nowhere close to where you're at geographically or even in the mind, because they feel like they are millions of miles away, though they have a dream and aspire to be just like you?
Okay, I'll say this. In New York is a huge melting pot. I work with people around the country. The people that I work with in New York are, you know what, I have a friend, he's a writer. His name is Joe Iconis. He wrote a song called Headshot. And the song is about three women who are from three different towns, three different parts of the country, who were the best in their city. They were the best in their town. And they all came to New York. And they realized that everybody around them was the best in their town. I say that to say, it doesn't matter where you come from. I work with people, there's people in my cast who are from Atlanta. I've worked with people, you know, all over. And here's the other thing. Theater is not just in New York. I'm on a Broadway show right now, but I've done regional theater where I've traveled the world. I've done shows and I mean, I've gone to California, because it's not, if you love what you do, it doesn't matter where you are. You know, I'm on Broadway now, but I've been doing theater for 20 years. I've been all over the world. I've been to Japan. I've been to.
Come on now.
So it doesn't matter. If you're someone that is down south right now, just stay doing what you're doing. Stay
Come
in
on now. That's what I want to hear.
Theaters, create your shows. Somebody, you can travel, and go anywhere with your show. I'm writing a show right now from Ella to Amy, and I plan on taking this show around the country, internationally, everywhere. Like, it's not where you are. It's what are you doing? How are you sharing your talent? You can do that anywhere.
Come on.
Especially with the technology that we have. I happen to, I'm born and raised in New Jersey, but like I said, I work with people from all over the country. And these programs, these programs are everywhere. So once these people graduate from college, and they do a showcase and they get an agent, a lot of them move to New York. And here's the other, the thing is, like, dealing with the New York life. New York is very different than down south. So I've been in college, like I've been in NYU with people who come from Texas. And after the first semester, they're like, you know what, New York is not for me. It's not for everybody, So you have to know that there is theater, there are performances everywhere. You can do it wherever you live.
That's right. And can you also share with our viewers, Badia, how do you take care of your temple, and how would you suggest that they potentially take care of their temple to have a long, healthy, and productive career in music and in theater? Because as you know, we've lost a lot of greats due to substance misuse. Right?
Yeah.
We've lost a lot of greats due to a lot of other health issues and concerns. So what is your advice to take care of your voice and your temple?
Well, my number one thing for me is I'm never going to do anything that's going to jeopardize my ability to perform. I'm never going to do that because, again, I've always known that this is the thing for me. Whether anybody else knows it or not, I have always known that. So I will never do anything that will jeopardize me being able to perform. Not going to do anything that's going to ruin my throat or, and I'm also a very cautious person. I also meditate. I drink lots of water, sleep, and I still get lessons. I have a wonderful voice teacher. I have a wonderful acting coach. I stay learning. Like, even though I graduate and I have a master's degree, I'm still taking classes. I'm still learning. I'm still working. I'm still exercising every day. And again, knowing consciously that I will not do anything that's going to jeopardize my career and my
beautiful. And guess what, y'all? Through it all, she is still momming and she is wifing.
But that's where I was going. That was my next question. How do you do that with that kind of thing? So even though, Jax, you were saying it, I want to know, how do you do that to be that mommy and be that wife? Because I when you asked that, she said, I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize. I was like, yo, it ain't easy to be in a relationship and be on the road and to travel and then to be a mother at the end of the day. So, Jax, I was going there, so I'm glad that you brought it up. We think alike anyway.
Before Badia even jumps in to answer that, let me tell y'all this. She is the wife of a Super Bowl champion, y'all. A wife of a Super Bowl champion. And so break it down, Badia. Tell us how you do it and tell us what's up with
you shouldn't have said that. So who's the Super Bowl champion?
Oh yeah, it's your team.
Name and the
team
it's your team,
Fatine.
Yeah. So my husband, his name is Al Singleton. He's from Irvington, New Jersey. Yes, and he played in the NFL for 10 years. So for the first 6 years, he played for the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Bucks. He won the Super Bowl with them. And then his last 4 years, he played for the Dallas Cowboys.
For the who?
That's Brother Fatine's team, Badia.
I get it all the time from Carl Banks, who's also another person from Jersey. That Carl, I'm not saying he's from Jersey, but he played with the Giants, and he always ribbing me for Teen. I shouldn't be talking to you because you know blah blah blah. But go ahead. Wow.
Well, let me tell you something. My husband had an interception and to a touchdown on the Giants.
Wow. There you go. There you go. There you go. That's why Carl Banks stays mad at me.
When he was with Chucky and the Buccaneers. Take a that.
There you go. There you go.
But break it down, Badia. You can answer Fateen's question. Go ahead, Badia.
Yes. So with that, I'm glad that Jax brought that up, because I was going to say that my father said he said something very important to me. He said, you know what? Al is used to working with a team. You make a great team. And that's the truth. We are a team. You know, of course, being a football player, him growing up, people were like, no, what do you really want to do? No, you can't be a football player. That's not going to happen. How many people you think make it to the NFL? Like, he knows what it's like to have a dream, have a goal, be focused, and go for it. He's my inspiration. I've never seen anybody as focused as him with anything he does. And so he understands, because anyone who is in my life must understand that I'm a performer. I'm going to do that. I'm going to always do that. Nothing's going to come in the way. If you are, you have to go. So he understands. He's supportive. So with the help of him, and, you know, I'm able to, and his understanding, I'm able to bob and weave and do what I need to do.
See, let me tell you, they have been together forever. I remember the day you guys met, Badia. They have been together. Badia has been from state to state, coast to coast, rocking out with Al, and Al has been rocking out with Badia. And he's such an amazing man. The children are wonderful, and I'm so proud. Like you said, it's a team, and to see that unit, you know.
How old are the children?
12 and 13.
So how is it? Because we talk about parenting, we talk about pouring in, you know, it's the pouring into the children. So how is it? You talk about team. Can you kind of give a couple of pointers that you have more career women out here now? You have more men that they're working. How did you pour in to your children as a team, as a unit? You know, so you give an example to other folks that sometimes feel like they juggling and they feel like that something takes away from them parenting.
Well, you know, my kids, they came into into this world with where we are, and I just bring them along. They don't know any different. They don't know any different. I bring them along. I show them everything that I'm doing. You know, I talk to them. And I do work a lot. I will say that. But when I'm present, they know I am there. I am present. I am giving them all of my attention. It's not divided. You know, I have them in a lot of activities, and I try my best to be there, be the one to do their hair, or, you know, I just try to be very, very present and available to them at all times. And whenever I can bring them with me, I just do. You know, because I had a band leader tell me one time, he said, you know, you just live your life and you bring your kids. They don't know any different. Right. That's your life. They don't know any different. And Beautiful. So what it is, I just bring them in. And that's all they know.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah.
You know, Badia, I got to go back to when you said this team of you and your husband. And a lot of folks need to really understand that. I think many times in relationships, it's not a team mentality. It's what can I get from you? And what can you get from me? And it's not that we're together. To be exact, it's like really two opposing forces trying to find peace together, instead of understanding that the way that the Most High and the Divine put it together is my right arm and my left, my arms work in conjunction with one another. They all belong to one body. And many a times I think in relationships, they don't have that team spirit or that team mentality. And you know, hearing you say that, really put a big smile on my face, because I am big on us as men, us as kings, being kings. But any good king needs a good queen who can whisper in his ear and give him great direction, and sometimes make him see what he can't see, because intuition is not a good quality most men have. I have discovered most women have great intuition. I'll be there with a dude that's ready to cut my neck, thinking he's my boy, and the whole time my queen will be whispering to him, "You need to keep your eye on him." And I'm like, "What? That's my dog. That's my no. You need to keep," because it seemed to be when the rib got removed, intuition got removed with it. So I just love what you said with that. I just love what you said with that.
Thank you.
And that's so true what both you guys are saying. So even for our young people who want to get into theater or just in life in general, when you are selecting a mate or when you're waiting to be selected, make sure you understand what qualities that man or that woman needs to have in order for you to fulfill what you need to fulfill in life, whether it's professionally, personally, spiritually. You got to be on the same page. You know, at least y'all got to be in the same book, you know, and let the pages come together, but be in the same damn book. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for disaster. Now, if Padilla would have, right now, if Padilla would have been with somebody else, you know, in the world that wasn't on that same page and in that book and on that team, her career, she may have never made it to Broadway, right?
Well, let me
So,
tell
but
you,
she made it.
I wasn't gonna let that happen because I've been in relationships with people who have been jealous, or they say, "Oh, you think you sound like Anita Baker," or that, you know, and immediately I'm like, I cannot be with you because you are not supportive, because I know what I'm trying to do. You know, I've always just been very focused and centered on what I have to do. And I'm like, if you're going to get on this train, you have to know where I'm going. That's it.
That's right.
There's no that's right. There's no the buts. This is what it is. I don't want to hear down the line no, this is it.
That's right.
You
That's
know?
right. And when you see those signs early on, you got to cut it off, right, Bade? Cut it off.
Cut it off.
Yep.
You got to, and see, I'm very hard on that, you know. And like I said, I do another podcast, a relationship show, and I was telling the brother, he says how he is, and that's cool. I'm not the one trying to change you, but I keep talking about compatibility. Know what you're doing, how you moving. That's why I always say we have to be transparent with our children. We have to talk with them, because a lot of people feel, oh, you go out there, you deal with somebody. Oh, I got pregnant. Now I'm pregnant by you. Now we got to get married, or we got to be together as a couple, but you're not compatible. Right. You're not compatible. And see, when you're career driven, like you are, your husband career driven, you understand? It's important. And a lot of times we stay in a vacuum. Sometimes we don't move out of that community. So then our pickings become very little. That's why we try to show our children ways, no matter if they're in the inner city, if they're in urban America, we still want to show them other parts so that there can be visionaries to see, so they can go out and experience and find out who they are. You need to find out who you are before you try to find out who somebody else is and try to get in a relationship with them.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Well, it's 1 minute past the top of the hour. Miss Padilla, you have graced us and we're smiling. And Sister Jax, thank you for once again bringing on a power-packed superstar individual that we will tell you the door is always open. You're welcome to come on hashtag Truth Be Told anytime you want to. But before we let you go, because I understand that you're a busy woman, a mother, an actress, and a wife, and doing all these things, and we don't want to handcuff you here too much longer. Tell people if they want to follow you, how do they follow you on social media? Also, once again, let them know about this great Broadway play that you're on called Hell's Kitchen, and how they can get tickets, or the website, or where they can go, because there might be somebody on here right now saying, I was getting ready to make a trip to New York. Hell's Kitchen.
Yes. Well, come on. The Broadway show that I am in is called Hell's Kitchen. You can go to hellskitchen.com to get tickets. We start previews on March the 28th. Previews, let me explain what that is. The show is open, but we can still make changes because it's an original Broadway show. April the 20th is when we open, and that means the show is locked. Nothing else is going to change after that. So previews start March 28th. Opening is April the 20th. You go to hellskitchen.com and get tickets. Come on out and see us if you're coming to New York or you're in the area. If you want to keep up with me, I have music that you can listen to on all streaming platforms. Just put in Badia Farah, or you can follow me at badiafarah.com is my website. On the Facebook, Instagram, it's always my name, Badia Farah.
Wow.
And there's a lot of Badia Farah, so you'll see me.
So real quick, so when you talk about March 28th, so the week of April 8th, y'all will still be in that area. So if in that area, because you said you opened the 20th of April,
Yeah.
but can we still come and see their production around the week of the April 8th?
You can start coming seeing us March the 28th.
Okay, so I'm back and forth between New York and South Carolina. I'm up there. So Jax, here it goes. You talk about us hooking up. Let's go. I have to be up there April 9th through that weekend. So for Reverend Sharpton's convention at the Sheraton. So I'll be staying in Manhattan. Okay. So besides that Wednesday night, Thursday or Friday or whatever we can get together, definitely want to go and support sister. So we will be there.
So hold on, Sister Farah. And hold on, Sister Jackson, Brother Fatim. It's about time I let the cat out the bag. Listen, it was my intention to show up to Reverend Sharpton's convention also. So we might need to put the trifecta up in the building.
I didn't know.
I'm on country boy from Tennessee, but this boy know how to jump on a plane. And
I didn't know.
Yes.
So I was going to let that cat out the bag, but
meow. We ain't got Shauna on here because the cat would have been out the bag early this morning, but that's an inside joke, but it's a bad idea.
So even though Miss Padilla,
some tickets, come on.
Yeah, even though we're not trying to look, you don't have to go, Miss Padilla. I just conscious of people's time, and I know when you have all these hats you wear, I know that I'm not trying to handcuff you to stay here. But since Jax guest, so I don't put other folk guests out. But I'll let Jax say what she needed to say, but we just want to respect your time. Go ahead, Sister Jax.
It's all right because Jax getting ready to run in this hospital and get an MRI real quick. So Badia, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Love you too.
I can't wait to have you back on again.
Yes, thank you.
And I know you're about to head to the city to go to the show. So we already talked about that. So do what you got to do. Safe travels. And we thank you. We appreciate you. We salute you. And we will see you soon.
Thank you,
girl. Broadway.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I got one bone to pick with Jax. Gotta bring some single women on here.
I know, right?
You don't.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'm a widower, so I'm, But anyway, I am so proud. It's such a beautiful sister, and I just want to say that I'm just joking. If anybody don't know me, but yeah, it's great job, sis. Big up to your husband. Big up to your family, and thank you for the grace in the stage. And Jax, you something else, girl. I have to tell you something else.
Y'all give it up for Miss Padilla Farad. Thank you for being on. Travel safe to the city and all that good stuff. Jax, I know you got to go take care of your business, so we're going to thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow for Freedom and Fun Friday. So my girl Jax, give it up for her too. One of the 4 horsemen right here on hashtag Truth Be Told. That's what I'm saying. So that leaves Brother Fatim, yours truly. It's 6 minutes. 6 minutes past the hour. Phone lines are wide open, 225-250-8770. Eventually, because we weren't talking that craziness that most folks want us to talk about, we didn't get no phone calls in the last hour. But in this hour, you did bring up earlier, and it felt good to see where justice was not just us. In the Mississippi situation with the Goon Squad, that was very tragic. And once again, there's a lot of folks out there doing those type things. It's just very few getting caught. And good morning to everybody. I see a lot of folks have jumped into the chat room. So we like to say good morning to everybody who's in here. Click like and share. Click like and share. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told. The 4 horsemen normally be in the building. It's yours truly, Joe Dupree for 100 BLK, Brother Fatim for 107.5 WBLS in New York City. Our girl Jax, who is an art therapist, author, a celebrity speaker, and of course, Miss Shauna Sias, better known as the Conduit, who is a big time children's advocate, superhero for children. But today, for the last hour of this show, 8 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour, is yours truly and Brother Fatim. And of course, we have spoken earlier in the show before we brought Miss Farah on about Haiti and Mississippi. And listen, I want to say this on the Haiti tip. The same way that we're showing love for the Ukraine, the way that we're showing love for Israel and Palestine and what's going on there in that region, we need to be also helping out Haiti, period. Now, a lot of you need to Google and read the history of Haiti. Haiti has always been an ostracized society, and people have different theories why they're ostracized. Nevertheless, I look at human beings as being human beings. And right now, we have human beings of color that look like you and I who need help. So I like to throw this out there. I would like every mega church, and we got a lot of them, who are always talking about the goodness of Jesus and God. Why don't y'all take up a collection and send that for some food aid and some relief aid to the country of Haiti? I said it. Now, because if you're really going to help somebody, do like Jesus. Help them because they're deserving of help, not because of who they are or where they come from. They said Jesus helped the Jews and the Gentiles. So I'm asking all these mega churches, because y'all take up a astronomical amount of money on Sundays and on Wednesdays and whenever you have your midweek and weekly service. Why don't y'all take up a collection for Haiti? Or better yet, why don't you take a portion of some of the collection you've taken up and send it to Haiti for relief and to help the children and to help those who are suffering? Brother Fatim.
So interesting you say that. So before we got to, I guess, Eddie Bonnet, good morning, brother. He wrote responding to something that I said from the New York Post, which I do agree with. He took a piece of an article and he said, in that article, it says the top Republicans on the House and Senate Foreign Affairs Committee, which have approved power over money, have pressed the State Department to detail how it will be spent. They have expressed concerns that American taxpayer dollars could fall into the hands of the groups that have led the violent uprising. And that's a response to when I said that the money was being held up by a Republican Senate. And Eddie Bonnet drilled down. He is 100% correct. And the reason why I mentioned that, because I'm about facts. I told you that before. I'm about facts. When Joe just said that some of these mega churches should take up a collection, I think that the first thing is that a lot of times we take up collections. You know, when Hurricane Katrina happened, Joe, that's your region. And a lot of people gave a lot of money to the Red Cross, a lot of money to different organizations. And we wondered where this money goes and how much money is distributed to the folks that need the help and assistance there. I'm not saying don't contribute. So what I'm saying that when Joe just put out that call to the mega churches, it's nothing wrong with taking up the donations and storing food goods, but you need to communicate with folks that know what's going on in Haiti, because you just don't want to send money blindly. Right now, they have no government. So you can't just send money over to Haiti right now. You can't, unfortunately. That's why there needs to be some type of strategic force. And the United States, again, the United States, if you know the history, as you just said, Joe, they helped destabilize. They took out our president. They kidnapped the president. Aristide was not taken out by death, but he was taken out of the country by the United States. You understand? He was elected by the people. So in New York, we had a show called Like It Is on ABC channel, headed up by Gil Noble. And he brought on former CIA agents, and they talked about how this government went around the world and destabilized nations for the United States agenda. So we have to be careful. This is a very difficult situation because people are dying. And now we're asking folks in the United States, which at the end of the day, the United States has had a hand in destabilizing Haiti, So that's why we're asking the United Nations, we're asking Africa African nations to take more of a lead role for their brothers and sisters in Haiti in this cause, because we don't know who has a secret agenda and set up a puppet government in Haiti and then try to pull the strings in Haiti. So this is a very fluid and difficult situation, but the bottom line is people are dying. And the pastor said last night, unfortunately, we got to save the people. So we got to put boots on the ground.
Right. You got to put your humanistic side out there and say, had this, and once again, I always tell people, just bring it home. Ask yourself what people would want to do if you were in that type of situation. Yeah, that's all I ask people. You know, no matter what it is, be it a murder, be it a war, be it something tragic that happened. Ask yourself, if you were the victim of that situation, how would you want folks to respond to you and to help you? And many a times it's because we're on the outside looking in and it hasn't hit home. We come up with these, as you say, cliche sayings and all this wah. But as soon as that same situation hits your house, all of a sudden you flip the whole entire script. You know, it's funny to me how folk will say, have mercy, have mercy, have mercy, until it's their child that when their child commits the crime. But as soon as their child gets killed, they're the first one that says prosecute them to the highest level of the law.
Right. Look at 9/11. A lot of us here, you know, us people of color know that America, like Eddie Bonnet came back and said, America always destabilizes other countries. The United States try to police the world. And see, the problem is they can bully but so many people. They can't bully China. They can't really bully Russia. You understand? There's some nations they just cannot bully because they can point their nukes at us. So the same way we can destroy them, they can destroy us. And none of us will survive. So yes, the United States has blood on their hands. And unfortunately, you know what happens when dynasties act like that. Past dynasties have fallen. And I can't say what the future is going to happen here in America. But I do want to say this, Joe. When 9/11 happened, there was a lot of people that just didn't believe in the United States. You know, when I say I'm talking about United States citizens that just was not about the government. But when that happened, all of a sudden the patriotism happens because now you're messing with the United States, man. And what we did, and I remember we put our issues on the back burner. We put our issues on the back burner to focus on, because I remember I'm an enemy. I walked the streets down at the World Trade Center and watched all these flyers up of individuals that we were hoping could be saved in that rubble. I was planning to go down to cover. I knew where I was going to set up. I was going to set up across the street at the store Century 21 and do my report. I didn't expect those buildings to fall. I couldn't get out of my job at JP Morgan. Yes, I was still working radio part-time, but I couldn't get out of my job. So I didn't head down there. You understand? But we know that we came together. People would travel the 95 corridor. If you were speeding and the cops caught you and they knew you was from New York, you know what that the state trooper said? Slow it down, go ahead. Because there was a patriotism there.
Right.
At one time, there's not a patriotism there. A lot of state troopers don't like a lot of people from New York because they think they're arrogant. They think they are the world. You understand what I'm saying? But that humanistic part came together. That's why I like Christmas. I'm not worried about the origin. I like Christmas and I like when babies are born, because a lot of times people bring out the best in them around that time, and they throw a lot of the isms behind them at that moment. Why can't you do that on a normal basis?
That is my question also, and we open up the phone lines. Phone lines are open, 225. I do see where Sister Bell called in. And Sister Bell, I'm sorry, I actually had the phone lines on vibrate, and I couldn't hear it vibrating. I apologize for that. But if you would like to call in, 225-250-8770. And Fatim, you are absolutely correct. And somewhere along the line, here's what we have to do. In my humble opinion, there's a few things we have to do. One thing we have to do is agree to disagree. We have to agree to disagree. And without us becoming mortal enemies because of our disagreement. And right now, that's what I see in politics. If you're not either on one side or the other, you are literally my enemy. Now, we have to be realistic about the truth of things. The truth of things. You know, you have to be realistically very truthful about the pros and the cons when it comes down to President Joe Biden. You have to be very realistic about the pros and the cons when it comes down to former President Donald Trump. You have to be realistic. You can't, and sometimes just like watch this. I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Tried and true. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm right across from a Cowboy fan. Let me give you a fact about my Pittsburgh Steelers. Got a bunch of Super Bowls, almost more than everybody else. However, they haven't won a Super Bowl in a long time, in a whole long time. And I'm not happy about that. And I think it had to do with coaching. I think it had to do with some of the players that we had. I think it had to do with a lot of things. Now, I don't own the Steelers, so the only people that can fix it is the ownership and the people who run the Steelers. Brother Fatim is a Cowboy fan. Last time the Cowboys had a championship, and they got 5 of them, and there's a lot of folks who ain't got 5 championships. Last time they got a championship was back when VCRs were popular, and we used to go to a place called Blockbuster that don't even exist no more. And I know that if you're a Cowboy fan, no shots to y'all ain't happy about that. Be exact, I really want to know the last time they went to a playoff championship game. Been a minute. So because I am a passionate Steeler fan, I celebrate all our victories, but I do accept some things that I know is not right because I want us to continue to win. And Brother Fatim accepts those same things. And we got to look at that with politics. This might be my team, but my team got some problems. And because we got some problems, we ain't been winning no championships. And then you got to ask yourself, why have you not been winning championships, and make the proper adjustments to at least put yourself in a position to win a championship? And we got to fix this, family. We've got to, first of all, let me say this as people of color, and I'm going to turn this over to Brother Fatim. We got to stop letting individuals run for office and not giving us in writing 3 things that they're going to do for us and our community if they get in office. Too many times we let people talk, but we don't let them put it in writing. From now on, when a person tells me that I need your vote, I'm going to say, give me 3 things that you can put in writing that you're going to do for me and my community. And if you cannot put 3 things that you can put in writing that you will do to help me and my community, why should I give you my vote? Brother Fatim.
I think, we talk about this when we talk about politics on this show. And a lot of folks get in the comments and they talk about this. And I'll be honest with you, Joe, and I'll tell my folks, again, sometimes we get folks that come in for the first time, so they didn't get a chance to hear us. But I honestly get sick and tired of talking about the same thing over and over and over and over. This is nothing new. And some of the onus is on us. It's not about just who we're voting for. It's the point is that we don't groom people to run for office. You understand? To that will do the right thing. You call it a do right party. You gotta groom folks so you have a bigger batch of folks. There are good politicians out there that are in bad situations, and then there are bad politicians out there as well. But when you are part of a team, and since this is a Republican and Democratic operating system here in the United States, if one party has more control of the House or whatever that branch of government or branch that they're operating in, then they get the majority to say what needs to be said. You have to understand that. So we bitch and moan about the same damn thing over and over. We talk about there needs to be more than one 2-party system. Well, if that's the case, then it's not only about creating a party, it's about getting enough people to create that party so that it exists. But if you're not going to get the people to get behind those people, you're wasting your time. And you may disagree with me. I'll give you an example. And we can invite him on this show. He's my brother, Professor Cornel West. And I'll say to my brother, you have the right to win. You're going to deal with the issues that some of these other folks will not deal with straightforward. But Brother Cornel, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. Robert Kennedy Jr., you're not going to win. Even though you have that Kennedy name, you're not going to win this. but I understand what you're doing. I'm not saying Reverend Sharpton Way was the best, but I remember what he said. He said, you know what? Sometimes we try to reinvent the wheel, where sometimes we need to go in and try to change the spokes in the wheel. That's why he ran as a presidential candidate. And you know why he said that? He said, instead of me being on the outside begging these people to ask one or two questions about our issues, I need to be in there so I can raise those issues. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying we got to be more strategic. A lot of times we want to blame the politicians and don't take no blame on ourselves.
And I completely agree with you, Brother Fatim, because here's how I see it. I don't vote Republican or Democrat or independent. I vote for the right individual at that right time for that position from my point of view. I don't vote just Republican, just Democrat, just independent. Like when you speak about the time that y'all had the mayor of New York, who was a Republican, he was the right man at the right time for that position from where he stood on the issues at that moment. And so even though he wasn't Democrat, he was Republican and he had all your support. And guess what? I see that happen in local races. I see that happen in state races. I see that happening in national, in federal races. You know, family, we just need to start asking folk, regardless of who they represent in party wise, what is your agenda to help this community, help our people, to help people who are in need? Because I understand that in this political game, you have to have this so-called 1, 2, 3 party system or whatever it is. But that does not remove, just because you're Republican don't mean you're right. Just because you're Democrat don't mean you're wrong, and vice versa. We need folk who are doing the right thing in order to bring about unity in this country, which I don't know if we'll ever have that because we have such a, everything's just so off balance.
Got it. So two things. Douglas Guidry writes, "Run, Jesse, run." So we applaud. Remember, Shirley Chisholm ran I believe in 1972. It was in. I was at. Matter of fact, I was in Denver. I was in Denver at the Democratic National Convention, and I didn't go over to the hall that night. And they brought a show on about Shirley Chisholm running for president. Shirley Chisholm was a congresswoman out of New York City, out of Brooklyn, who I got a chance to meet, she came to speak at my high school. And I didn't know that people like us and the Democratic Party turned on that woman. It's so bad. It's so sad that how they turned on this woman because of her being a Black woman, and our own Black males were intimidated and envious and jealous, turned on that sister. Going into what you wrote, Douglas Guidry, "Run, Jesse, run." Kudos to Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. I'm blessed to know this man. I remember when I was down marching in Katrina, in New Orleans, dealing with the Hurricane and Katrina. And I worked at that time with Reverend Sharpton. And Reverend Jackson is, "Fatim, I need you to go over there and move this person." And I said, "Who do I work for?" I thought I worked for Reverend Sharpton, and it's funny. But I applaud Reverend Jackson. He ran twice. One thing in hindsight is 2020. The mistake that Reverend Jackson did is when he got all those delegates, he didn't put up enough strong points of action that was needed when he gave up those delegates to Dukakis, who won that Democratic primary. But Reverend Jackson had all those delegates. If Reverend Jackson didn't give up those delegates, Dukakis would have been in a problem. If Reverend Jackson told those folks not to vote for Dukakis, he would have had a problem, and he even still lost. He wound up losing. And a lot of people, I'll be honest with you, that voted for Reverend Jesse Jackson, and when Reverend Jackson gave up those delegates kind of easy, a lot of black folks said, "Nah, we not doing it. We not," and Dukakis lost there. But I want to go also to Eddie Bonnet. He said, "Brother Fatim, question. Should we groom a balanced individual instead of our current grooming way, only Democrat or only Republican?" So Eddie, when I talk about grooming someone, I'm talking about from the school level. I'm talking about the school level, where you get kids out there so they understand what government is, understand government. You know, I don't know if the schools down there have government elections where they got in the school for the kids. We had a student body president. He had a vice president. Yeah, so exactly. So that's part of the grooming thing. I don't want to sit here. I don't talk about grooming somebody to be a Democrat or grooming somebody to be a Republican. But since I'm in a Black community, you groom a person that is going to stand up and fight for the issues. You groom a person to be truthful and responsible and respectful for the people in the community, and try to understand people in your community and also outside of your community. When you're part of a community, you empathize with them because you're going through the same things that they are going through. Right. You're grooming someone that understands government and understand how government works. When they get older, as we raise children, they make their own choices, and they make their own choices. A lot of times where you come from help dictate where direction you're going to go in. Unfortunately, in this 21st century, in 2024, the Republican Party and Democrat, they are polarized. They are polarized. So you got to realize a lot of issues coming out of the Black community, you don't see championed by the Republican Party, even if it's a Black person. So it's hard to say, okay, go over there where they don't champion some of the issues that you've been fighting for all your life. So how do you come out of your community and join a party that don't advocate for your community? You understand what I'm saying? So it's not that I want to groom a Democrat, but how do you groom a person and you fighting all your life as a young person, and then you want to get in politics and say, I'm going to join a party that don't advocate for me and I got to beg for crumbs from them. That's the problem, my brother. That's the problem.
So Brother Fatim, and I think I can speak to this. I can speak to this from my short-lived experience. I am a registered Democrat. I was appointed by a former mayor president that people call Baby Trump. It took a lot of prayer and supplication, and it took a lot of conversation in order for me to take that appointment. But here's what I heard in my spirit. I heard in my spirit, it would be better for me to be in a position to help my people than a position not to help my people. Because sometimes people take these appointments, people get in these positions of power, people get elected, and you don't see them at all. You don't hear from them. You don't see them. Literally, all they do is help those who are either their relatives, their friends, or folks connected to them. When it comes down to the greater plight of the community and for the greater good of all, they're not there. I wanted to be there not only to help people I knew, but help people I didn't know that went through the same issues that I was having. Because when you're dealing with minority issues, you're dealing with women issues, you're dealing with Hispanic issues, you're dealing with Asian issues, you're dealing with Persian American issues, you're dealing with any group of folk who are not Caucasian. They are all considered to be minorities. So, and even within the Caucasian, you have certain communities that were not American, that, they might be considered also a minority. There was a lot of minority groups, and I knew if we could get all the minority groups together to have the conversation, we all had similar issues and problems. Now, me being appointed by a Republican guy, we sit down many a times and had many a conversations where I said, I just don't agree with that. But there were many conversations we agreed on the same thing. As Brother Fatim said, it's the polarization. It's literally because I'm a Steeler fan, I can never like a Cowboy. Never. Every fiber of my being, I hate the Cowboys. Negative. I have been programmed to that. Because if I hate all the Cowboys, that means I hate my cousin Too Tall Jones, who was a faithful Cowboy player and owned the Hall of Fame. No. Sometimes you got to say, I do not like some of the principles and the pillars that your party stands on. These pillars and these principles are not for the best for me and my people. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. And that door swings both ways. Trust me, there are some pillars and some principles in the Democratic Party I do not like. However, there are more positives in the Democratic Party for me than there are positives in the Republican Party for me. So I swing most of the time toward the Democrat. Though I will work for, I have voted for, and I have been with Republican because I have seen that what they are as an individual was better for my community and for my people than the person that the Democratic Party had before me. Brother Fatim.
Excellent, Joe. Excellent. I'm going to go to you, Brother Bonnet. Well, I'll go here. You said, what I'm saying is this. We have been pushing Democrat mills and Republican mills instead of people who can think outside of the box, that knows how to deal with both sides. That seems like yesteryear, unfortunately. And there are some candidates that can deal with both sides. There are candidates that can deal with both sides out there. So that's number one. But you've got to understand the structure and the power structure and how this works. And in these I forgot the name with these groups that pour funding behind certain candidates that
these
they
lobbyists.
have.
These interest groups.
That's it. Lobbyists. Thank you, Joe. The lobbyists and these interest groups that get behind these candidates and help push them, then they're puppets to them. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I'm saying that we need, again, you got to be a person that stands on principle all the time. And if you a man or woman of principle, because a lot of those folks are there in office that are doing good. Now, Douglas Guidry writes, some of the minority politicians are in it to line their pockets and put their families in position and not to help the betterment of the community. So, Douglas, let me just say this. Yeah. I see y'all complain about this all the time. Yeah, that happens. But what about the good black politicians? What about the good ones? I don't never hear you say Maxine Waters. I don't hear you say Congresswoman this person, this state representative in New Orleans, or this state representative there, or this person in the parish. Why don't y'all elevate the good ones that are doing it? You always complain, oh, there's some black politicians. Yeah, there's some black and there's some white that do that bad stuff. But what about the good ones? The way you complain about it is like, that's what I'm saying. We bitch and moan. We don't amplify the good ones that are doing out there and talk about the struggles that they are running into and the brick walls that they're running into. Why don't you balance the conversation? You always use negative examples of negative people, but you don't promote the positive ones that are out there. So it seems like we don't have no good black politicians. It's a damn shame. Come on. Y'all can do better than that. Come on. Stop always giving we know there's bad politicians out there. We talk about that. We call their asses out. But what about the good ones? What are the ones that were fighting for you out there? What about those two brothers in Tennessee that fought, got threw out, and got voted back in? Come on now.
Right.
Stop this, man. Always being pessimistic. Be sometime optimistic sometime.
And even in our area, and I think a lot of time it has to do with politics in Louisiana is popularity somewhat, and a lot of political posturing. And once you get into the game, like when I got into the game, and the game cost me dearly, I'm still recovering somewhat from the game. But the truth about it is, and you brought that up about the schools, yes, they do have class presidents and SGAs, not only in schools, but universities. But what you come to find out is, if we would be truthful to one another, is politics has a lot to do with popularity. And it has to do with those who know how to purposely use their words to pull on your heartstrings to make you say, I like him because he's speaking about the issues I like. Unfortunately, this is we hate to say it, but the truth is still the truth. It's a very racist country. So when all of a sudden along comes a spider who all they're talking about is, look at how they've treated us. We're supposed to be the heads of this thing. This is supposed to be our country. But look how they've let other folks who don't look like us come into this country. Look at how they've given other folks who don't look like us special privileges and things like affirmative action, but they don't tell you the whys. They just tell you, look at us suffering because of these policies that were put in place to they don't tell you the policies were put in place because for years the playing field was never even. For years we were literally racist and obstructionists and being prejudiced toward these people and holding them back from having a good quality of life. The American dream was never the American dream for Black folks back in the 1800s, 1910, 1920, 1930, really, right now, there are folks who don't even of color, no matter what your nationality is or where you come from, that are not experiencing the American dream because of years of prejudice, racism, and tactics used to hold them back. But they won't tell you the reason that these policies are in place is to kind of make up for all these centuries and decades of them doing people wrong. No, they just make you feel like, oh my God, look at this affirmative action is so wrong. You know, not saying, did you ever go back and acknowledge that stealing all this land was wrong? Did you ever go back and acknowledge that slavery was wrong? But no, affirmative. See, you got it, Brother Fatim, before I even get off, let me get on my soapbox. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Rhonda Hairston said, and I did it, Rhonda, you know, he asked, does he know of Maxine Waters, Brother Fatim, and who I honestly started calling auntie before it became popular to call her auntie. I never forget when I brought her into our station. I've had her on numerous times, but she came in with her husband and we called for a black car for her. They sent a station wagon cab car for her. And she was like, no, Brother Fatim, we got it. Don't worry about it. She was just down with the people. She was just and still is down with the people now. But you know what, Joe? I'm tired of talking about it. I don't know if Rhonda knows, if Rhonda, you're New York, then you know. I'm going to reach out to Charles Barron. Charles Barron is a former Black Panther. First ran for New York City Council, won the seat. Then he went and went into the assembly. Then his wife went into city council. Then they switched seats. And he came up and helped redevelop East New York, Brooklyn. A brother that never compromised, never saw in there with a tie on. He wore his suits and he never bent for none of them. He is the one that ushered through the reparations bill in New York State. They got him off that bill and kind of watered it down. But if it wasn't for Charles Barron, there would not been a reparations bill for New York State. I'm going to bring him on. I'm going to show you a Black man don't bend. I'm going to show you a man that was part of politics that didn't bend. And let him explain to you that you can do it, not being compromising and not feeling that you got to scratch where you don't itch or you got to do like Senator Tim Scott. Yes, I said it, grinning and skinning where you're making yourself look like a damn buffoon. Stand up, Black man. Stand up, Black woman. Come on.
And that's just the point. They hold over us these jobs with certain dollar figures on it. You know, I'll say this, and I'm going to get off the subject too. It's 42 minutes past the hour. You know, you're held hostage because some of the folks who helped you usher get in jobs, they try to make examples of sometimes the good Black folks. We're going to show you what happens when we take his money away. I'm just being real with you. And it's sad that they send us to get us. You know, right now, I got a whole list of folks. You know not to speak to me. You know better not to speak to me. Whole list of folks who all you had to do was text me and say, hey man, you all right? You good? You didn't even do that. Mm-hmm. So don't turn around, because I promise you, everything that the devil took away, God got my back.
Right.
I promise you. And I just want to say this, and I'm going to be off this soapbox. Look at what you've contributed to these series of unfortunate circumstances. And stop walking around like you the person who's going to save us, because the only person who can save you is yourself and God. And you ain't that. So at the end of the day, we've got to be in a position where we work together. We collaborate and not compete. And too many times we're competing and not collaborating, Brother Fatim.
Yeah, and this is my closing statement on this part, because we're not done yet, because Joe's winding the tape and music and we gone. No, we got a little bit of time. So my thing is like this. I hate to make this disclaimer, but I'll put it out there. I deal with people that are sincere. I don't care if you're black or white. You understand? I'm willing to work with you. I've been impressed by some white folks that just been really sincere and down to do the right thing about humanity and try to learn and understand our causes. A lot of times they say, I can't speak for you. I can be sympathetic, but I can't be empathetic because I don't walk in your shoes. And those folks I'm willing to work with in the same way I'll lend my voice to them. I can't speak for the Jewish community. I can't speak for the Irish community, but I can speak up if wrong is being done to them. I can definitely do that. The reason why I'm so passionate, because a lot of people say, why are Fatim so angry? No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm part angry. I didn't need to see Roots. I did not need to read and see Roots more than one time to put things into perspective. My grandmother, my great-grandmothers, my ancestors was treated like that, less than a human. And you want me to forget about that? And then when racism is still posed on us, I gotta soften the blow. When we want to tell our story, you want to cut it out of libraries and displays. You want to take us, when it comes to Black History Month, we can't even speak in certain forms in Florida. I don't forget that. I didn't have to be whipped on the back. You understand? But my first cousins, my oldest brother was called Boy. My oldest brother, he didn't have to pick cotton, but he worked in a cotton field and he was treated like a slave. He told them F them. And my family had to get him out of here because my family in the South said they're going to hang that boy. I talked to Emmett Till's mother. She had tears in my eyes for what they did to him. And you want me to come now and put an asshole in the White House that don't give a damn about us? I'm always going to fight against something like that. Yeah, the Biden administration ain't perfect neither. And I can talk about and call that out. But we've gotten more from them than anything that we've got from the Trump administration here. And I hate to turn it political. I don't forget. I never will forget what was done to my family. When I go Orangeburg right now, where my grandmother, no bathroom in the house, I had to go into an outhouse. Y'all don't remember that because you didn't do that. Gotta bow your head when you talk to white people.
Come on,
man. Y'all better stop this, man. I'm in the South. Joe said he's in the South. I see how some black folks carry on around white people.
Right.
They walk around to be Jesus walking on water.
Come on.
and those folks that look at them and look down at them and treat them and talk to them like they're dogs.
Come on.
Trump disrespecting women, disrespecting black people, disrespecting handicapped people. And you gonna call us and say, put some asshole in office like that? Y'all done lost your damn cotton picking mind. I'm done with this topic, Joe. Okay. Because there's no rational behind it right there.
Right.
Yes, Joe Biden is not the best, but we've gotten more out of that. He kept his promise. He elected a black woman to the Supreme Court. Did Donald Trump do that? No, he elected 3 white conservatives to the goddamn Supreme Court. You understand what I'm saying? Did he elect as many black federal judges? No, he didn't do that. Biden did that. So when you come to us, I'm sorry to get so upset, but I can't see how you'll forget. Black people get amnesia. What has been done to us. They get amnesia about January 6th.
And compare that to the Million Man March, where we didn't storm the Capitol one time. We didn't try to overthrow the government one time. There was 1 million black men there in Washington, D.C. And what did we do? Try to elevate not only us, but our families, our sisters, our children.
And we came back into our community and did better. If you look at the statistics from the Million Man March within that 5 to 7 year period, you saw crime coming down in a lot of Black communities across the country. Amen. You saw more Black fathers standing up and doing the right thing. Even Black women said, you know what, I'm gonna give that Black man another opportunity to be a father to his child. I may not put him on the system because now he's trying to do the right thing. There was more of a unified and cohesive situation. You talk about the Million Man March now, today, it's the older folks. The young folks don't know anything about that. Right. Not one bit.
Right. So in a brother like Brother Fatim, who is my big brother, he's older than I am. He doesn't look it, but he is.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, you don't look older than me, but you are. We keep receipts. I keep receipts on white folk. I keep receipts on Black folks. I keep receipts on good folks. I keep receipts on bad folks. And trust me, when the time comes, and it will, I will present my receipts and say, hold up. But didn't you say? Hold up. Did you? Oh, not only did you not say, but what is it that you didn't say? Because sometimes your silence speaks more than your words. So at the end of the day, family, all I got to say is we got to be more about real collaboration and less competition, and not use that as a cliche of saying. Because some of the folks who say it are the same folks that's hating on you, hating on what you do. Like I tell people all the time, you'd be surprised. Most of your friends on social media aren't your friends. They're just monitors. They're there to monitor what you're doing, where they can try to either copy it or either talk about it or either run back to Mr. Charlie and tell Mr. Charlie what's going on. Those are the truth about it. And y'all ain't got to like me. To be exact, if I had to make it on one day of your like, I'd be dead by now. So thank God that God favors me. Your like is not necessary. God's favor and his love is. And I thank God that he loves and favors me.
Right. And I thank Rhonda for writing, no, don't be sorry, Brother Fatim. I truly, truly get it. Horrific what has transpired to us. And you're right. I'm not going to apologize, because right now, if we had a Jewish person sitting in as a guest and he got passionate and cried or whatever and preached about the Holocaust, I'm right behind them, because I understand. Because just like their Holocaust, we had a Holocaust.
Woo.
You understand what I'm saying? They don't have monopoly on the word Holocaust, but they had a Holocaust just like we had a Holocaust. You understand? I remember when the movie Schindler's List came out, and it was about the Holocaust, and they were talking about putting it in public schools in New York City. And we was like, you can do that, but you're going to put roots in the school.
Right.
Are you going to we're not playing that game. We're not playing that game, because yes, we're not minimizing their pain, but we're not just going to amplify their pain and don't amplify our pain. Right. See, the problem is that you are embarrassed here in the United States because of your forefathers, what they did to us as a people. You have a stain on you, America. You've never apologized for slavery. You understand? You don't want to give us reparations, but we are going to continue, and we are going to continue. And we can't talk about reparations, Joe, if we don't vote certain people into office. Because if we don't get the House or we don't get the Senate, then we can't pass a reparations bill. That's why you got to do. You imagine Trump. You think Trump? Let's just say the Democrats win the House. The Senate is run by the Democrats. The HR 40 reparations bill is passed by the House and the Senate. You think Trump is going to sign that? Well, Joe Biden said he would sign it.
Hold on. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this on the way out the door. 8 minutes to the top of the hour. Family, that's where, once again, I cannot and will not hang my hat on politics. Here's why. I can show you times that the House, the Senate, and the presidency was all held by one party, be it Democrat or Republican. I can show you where the House, the Senate, and the presidency was all held by one party. And even in those times, let's be real, some things that should have got passed didn't even get brought to the table. And once again, I'm about people, not about politics. And when you put politics above people, you don't roll in the purpose of what's the greater good for everybody. You heard me say it.
So let's talk about that real quick. So let's go back to the one of the more recent times. So let's go back to the Obama administration. When President Obama won, he had a Democratic House and he had a Democratic Senate. Remember, it was a tough fight for him to get Obamacare. So remember, at that particular time, he was putting all his eggs in one basket. He was trading off, doing this, doing that. Remember, Obamacare passed by the Democrats. Obama came out with that. That was his campaign pledge, that he was going to put out Obamacare, because honestly, we should have health care or Medicare for all, but we don't in America, where other countries have that, where a lot of times healthcare is free in other places. It's so sad.
And brother Fatim, I just want to call Obamacare what it actually is, because see, some people don't like that word Obamacare. Let's call it what it is: the Affordable Care Act.
Right, but I call it what it is, because it's Affordable Care Act, but it's considered Obamacare because he ushered it in. But that's fine. That's the correct name of it, Affordable Care Act. 2 years. Remember, he's fighting to get this through. What happens after the second year after a president is nominated? You have the midterm elections. Mm-hmm. Republicans are mad. We got a black president, and there's the Democrats across the board. They don't like Obamacare at the particular time, where a lot of Republicans benefited from Obamacare and didn't want to tell you that. You understand?
Right.
But then the midterm elections come in, and that's when we started to lose the House, the Senate. So now it's a quagmire now. So if you look back at that, if we can give President Biden a good majority of the House and the Senate and the presidency, you will see more bills, because the Democrats have talked about more bills for the people, not just black people, more bills. But there are the Voting Rights Act to strengthen that, because the Supreme Court weakened that, to put more acts in their place for housing. We're not hearing that coming from the Republican Party. So that's why when you come to us, if the Republican Party champions some of these issues that are coming out of our community, then we will say, you know what, go over to the Republican Party, because you know what, they are going to also champion our issues. But when the scale is tilted, our issues here and the Republican Party issues here, and none of our issues are in here, why are we going to send people to the Republican Party?
You said something that I hope people caught. It is 4 minutes to the top of the hour. We may do a little overtime, because I really want to drill on this. How individuals in the House and the Senate are obstructionists merely because they don't want the other person's party to get credit. Listen, there are good bills that do good things for everyone. But before they let that good bill that does good things for everyone pass through under an administration that is ran by a certain individual, they will shoot it down. And both parties do that. And that is wrong, because we did not elect you to office to represent your party. You were elected to office to represent the people. And that's where we make the mistake so many times. Look what just happened recently. They had a bill that would have literally secured the border the way they wanted it to be secured. But because if I pass this bill, it passes under Joe Biden's watch, President Joe Biden. Let me say that correctly, because I was watching Fox News, and Fox News, you got one more time to say President Donald J. Trump, and every time you say Barack Obama as if he was never president. I got a problem with y'all. Give that man his proper due and respect. Just like I'm saying President Joe Biden, former President Donald Trump, we have former President Barack Obama. He was a president too. Okay. So that's what it is. It's all about, before I do right by the people, if me doing right by the people gives Barack Obama credit, I'm not going to do right by the people, because I don't need him to get the credit that we did right by the people on his watch. You saw that just happen when Donald Trump said, don't vote for the bill. They're gonna give credit to Biden. Not don't vote for the bill because it's wrong. The bill was right for the people. It was right to help the people. But no, vote for it because they're gonna give this man credit, and I need to get credit for that. That's
Exactly.
selfishness.
Right. And Eddie Bonnet, I came out of the comments because you pushed the thinking cap to me. You pushed the thinking cap. So I'm gonna say this. I'm going there. Two Democratic senators during the Biden administration were not on board with President Biden's domestic agenda. Senators Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, and Kristen Sinema, Democrat from Arizona. So we're not just going to blame this on the Republicans because, Eddie will come at me for team. What about this? And he's right. We had two conservative senators that had their own agenda. Two Democratic senators.
And Sinema's no longer a Democrat.
Yeah, she went independent. I got that. But what I'm saying is I don't want to just always beat up on the Republicans because also it can happen with conservative Democrats as well. And those two, because we had a small margin in the Senate, those two held up a lot that could have been passed. So,
that part.
So. Mm-hmm.
And so, family, what I'm saying is let us all wake up. Let us all look at folks and say, I could care less what party you represent. Do you represent the good values for the betterment of me and my community? What principles and pillars do you stand on? See, because so many times we put politics over people. That's what we're doing. We're putting politics over people. And that's not right.
Nope. Rhonda Hairston writes, and again, Rhonda and everybody in the chat, thank you for writing and contributing. If you don't call in, we appreciate the chat. We'd like to hear your voice time to time. All right, so please, call in. Rhonda writes, they needed that healthcare package. They needed that healthcare package, Affordable Care Act / Obamacare in the South. People worked 2 and 3 jobs to try to move up, but couldn't even buy a house because of medical debt. Sweden, other countries have free healthcare. Even though not free, it reduced medical debt for them. So she's right. My daughter was caught up she's 28 now. So she was more on with my wife's healthcare, but she was able to latch on to the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. My daughter was sick last week, and she got a position, and she can pick healthcare, but she has to wait a month. She couldn't go to the doctor. She's like, Daddy, I'm not getting a big medical bill. I'm not going to do that. You understand? Because she's 28 now. This is my younger daughter. So we saw the benefits of this, and every time they want to get rid of Obamacare. And now so many people that are feeling that they can't get healthcare or healthcare is just so expensive. Now you see because you don't like the color of the skin of the president, or you don't like the president champion for people of color. That's just damn right racism. That's what racism, Joe, is. It's evil. Prejudice is judging before you know. You could be ignorant about something. You can be prejudiced. Prejudice and racism. Racism is just evil. You empower and you stop someone because you don't like them. That's racism. That's where isms come from, because it comes from hatred.
Well, family, it is 2 minutes past the top of the hour. And I'm thankful that we have a platform where we can engage into these conversations. That's another reason why you brought up earlier Shirley Chisholm, and how Shirley Chisholm was literally undermined by African-American males who were in politics that were jealous of her rise to power without asking their permission. Hold it. And many a times African-Americans go through that. We get assassinated by certain African-Americans that are in the position of power. And when we aspire to get to that position of power, or to run for our office, or to do something that we feel can help our community, because we haven't went to them and asked for their permission, they character assassinate us. They turn around and try to say, oh, I'm going to make an example of you. But woe be unto y'all. Because like I said, if I had to live off of the likes, the clicks, and the shares of anyone out there in this world, I've been dead a long time ago. But thank God that doesn't determine who I am, because whom's I am, he has grace and mercy and loves me through it all. And what he says that I will be, what is who I will be, not who you say I will be. I'm just saying. So right. I'm going to give us some closing words, Brother Fatim. I'm going to give you some closing words, and we're going to get up out of here, Brother Fatim.
Joe, I just think that today was, another. First of all, I want to thank Sister Badia for coming on, and Sister Jax for booking her, for coming on the show. We try to bring you thought-provoking guests, and we try to bring up and raise these issues that folks want to hear. Please, and if contact, some of Joe, you want to directly text him. If there's some topics that you want to raise with us, send it, put it in the chat. I don't really have no words today, but saying, like you say, be better than you are. Be better today than you were yesterday. And you do that so well. Help someone, help yourself, be honest with yourself, and just look yourself in the mirror. I always mention that. Look yourself, Michael Jackson, man in the mirror, look yourself in the mirror. And see what you can do to improve yourself. I get on myself sometime. Joe, no, I'm very hard on my presentation and things like that on the show, because I want to make sure that I'm able to articulate, my thoughts, but my passion comes out. And at my age now, you can always change. You can always change for the better. But I'm just passionate for my people. I love my people. I love people. And I just wish that this world could be better, because I have children. I want to see grandchildren. Joe is expecting a grandchild. We want this world to be better, and to see where it's at. Yeah, we've made some strides. Yes, we can't sit there. And that's why I say you can't always be pessimistic all the time. We've made some strides, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. So we elevate and amplify the good things that have been done and still are being done. But we also acknowledge where we need to improve in some of the things that are not going right. So those are the words there. And I just want to say we schedule to have a special guest tomorrow, former retired NYPD detective Mark Claxton, to join us to talk a little bit about these new gun laws that's happening in South Carolina and across the country. South Carolina became the 28th state that have more lax or relaxed gun laws. We'll talk about that and more issues surrounding policing. And Mark Claxton can go on any topic there. So,
thank you, Brother Fatim. Man, that was deep. I'm not even going to respond after that. I'm not going to say what I normally say. I'm going to close it out like I always closed out radio and every other show I ever did. Always remember that there is no secret, absolutely none. And I want y'all to know this. There is no secret what God can do. What he has done for others, he will and he can do for you, for when God is with you. Nothing or no one can stand against you. Mark Claxton coming on tomorrow for Freedom and Fun Friday. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Have a blessed and wonderful day. We up out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Ivan the producer.
Oh. Hey, yo, Q. Give him some of the vibe, too. Sometimes you gotta say fuck 'em if they ain't on what you want. Cut ties from the ones that ain't cheering you on, and say fuck 'em, then fuck it. Don't let them bring you down. I mean for nothing. But if they try, it's probably best to cut ties with them. It's probably best to cut ties with them. Well, a new job, what you making, a new car, what you pay for it. All they need to know is you worked hard and you slave for it. All that dry hating, I swear ain't even called for. They sizing up your blessings like y'all don't serve the same Lord. But I say fuck them, don't tell them nothing. Let them be happy cause they think you busted. And now you're struggling. I don't care if it's your mama or father, your sister or your brother or his dumbass baby mama. Fuck that drama. Fuck them if they ain't on what you want, cause ties from them ones that ain't cheering you on. And say fuck them, then fuck it. Don't let them bring you down, I mean for nothing. But if they try, it's probably just a cut ties, cut ties, cut ties, cut ties, beat up. It's probably best to cut ties, cut ties, cut ties, cut ties, speed up. Well, it's some truth to them jokes. Don't let them cheat on your dreams. They don't come to support. They there to peep out the scene. When they speak on what you do, they gotta break down how you did it. Shit ridiculous. You gon' learn to keep some folks about your business. It's your right to live the type of life you live. If they don't like it, get them out of here. That's how it gotta be to keep your sanity. Protect your energy at all costs. If they moving funny, cut their ass on. Sometimes you gotta say fuck them if they ain't on what you want, cause ties from them ones that ain't cheering you on. And say fuck them, then fuck it. Don't let them bring you down, I mean for nothing. But if they try, it's probably best to cut ties, cut ties, cut ties, cut ties, yeah. It's probably best to cut ties, cut ties, cut ties, cut ties, yeah. Sometimes you gotta quit.